So first of all, mine's about football, therefore it's about cheating. Okay. Therefore it's about these notes I have in my hand.
You ready?
Yeah, Steven told me about this yesterday, so I had to write mine down.
Go!
Oh, okay. All right. I'm here to talk about a very important topic in our industry. I'm here to talk about innovation, fighting the status quo, and challenging established thinking.
Okay.
There we go. In short, I'm here to talk about football. No, not this kind of football for you foreigners, but this kind of football, the kind of football we play here in America. But more specifically, I'm here to talk about Tom Brady. Do you guys know who Tom Brady is? I saw a Red Sox fan here, so you must know Tom Brady. Yeah. So you think that you know what this is about, but you don't. You probably think this is about deflated balls and cheating. It's not. It's about establishing rules and fostering innovation, and ultimately establishments that care more about protecting their own power than the products they put on the field. I'm from Boston and living in the Bay Area. For those of you who don't know, Tom Brady's from the Bay Area and lives in Boston. I like to think we're living the exact same life, just as mirror images. That's his wife. My wife, Natalie, is very honored by this analogy. Tom was recently suspended 4 games, which cost him $25 million, and the Patriots were fined $1 million. It's the largest fine ever in football history. Now, this is extremely historic because the previous fine for this was $25,000 for someone who did the exact same thing, which is altering a ball in football. So it's really completely out of context. So it begs the question...
I'm not advancing until it says.
What this is really about is not the crime, but the cover-up. So they're punishing Tom Brady because he didn't play by the rules and because he refused to participate in the investigation. And so the establishment, those that set the status quo, were very angry and decided to do these things. He took 2 psi out of his balls. That is 1 gram, that is the weight of a paper clip, was taken out of his balls, and he was fined $1 million and given the most historic penalty ever in football. So it kind of puts things in perspective. But I digress. You guys don't really care about this. You probably care more about the point of what does Tom Brady and deflated balls have to do with anything in our industry. So there's 2 things I want to point out about this. The first is the Patriots do everything possible to push boundaries, right? They flex and bend the rules. Now, some may call this cheating. I call it innovation. They're innovating. They're taking a 100-year-old sport, 95 years to be exact, founded in 1920, and they're bending the rules to win games. Now, that's their thing, but ultimately the second thing, as I mentioned, that they're guilty of is not participating in some of the more minutiae, the status quo, the things that are going on. And that's why he was suspended. So a little bit of the bending of the rules, a lot of the establishment, and not playing by those common rules. So what does this have to do with data? What does this have to do with storage? What does this have to do with the things that we, I hope most of this in the room, care about as opposed to football? I hope you care about football too, by the way. Otherwise this is terribly offbeat. Well, you see, the NFL in my mind is like other 3-letter acronyms. And I only had 24 hours to pull this together. That's when Steven stopped by my office yesterday and roped me into this. That's why I have notes in my hand. And so ultimately, you can move on. NFL is like another company that is a 3-letter acronym. If you don't know what this is, you can look it up. It's the symbol for an event that just happened last week. And I think that they're a lot like the football teams that are out there, or less the establishment that is football. They're status quo and they're protectionist. And they're hiding behind a bunch of things. You see, they say things like, we do it because this is the way customers prefer it. We do it because storing data, the quality and reliability matters most. Well, to me, they're getting the point all wrong. Those things, in fact, they're missing the point entirely. So I think that there's an opportunity to step back and think a little bit more like the Patriots, to bend the rules, to think differently about how storage has always been done. You see, I'm not interested in things like, oh God, I'm terribly off track now. I'm interested in what's happening. Business is changing, applications are changing, the way we value data is changing, the way we analyze data is changing. The only thing that's not changing is the way we store data. And that's ultimately why we're seeing new systems. I work for a company where the founder was responsible for building Cassandra. So that's one of the things that he thought was interesting. And what he decided is, you know what, I can take what we're doing in the database realm and bring it to the storage realm. And I can innovate and I can break the rules. And so ultimately that brings me back to my point. This is about innovation. If you think differently, if you actually go against the establishment, you go against those rules, you have an opportunity to think differently. And so if you're interested in why a database and storage are totally different and all the same all at once, I'd be happy to elaborate. But at the end of the day, the moral of my story is if you compare my company Hedvig with someone like Tom Brady or the Patriots, that's fine, because then I end up being a championship winning quarterback with a supermodel wife. So I'm perfectly happy with that analogy, and thank you very much. That's my thought.